Hey guys, welcome. Let's go. Welcome to
Venus the podcast episode 1. You'll be able to see our faces soon. For those who are on the live, we have live on here and we have live on Instagram as well. So
check us out, follow us.
Where you want to, look at us.
Venus dot the podcast on IG. Whoop whoop. So actually, you can start with the graphics because that was first.
Oh yes. So we just want to extend a special thank you to Chun, Mr. Cambodia, for our little animation pixel art version of me, Alice, and Jazz.
Yes, thank you so much, Chun, all the way from Melbourne. Please come back to New South Wales very, very, very soon. And also, guys, so that banger of a remix that you just heard was exclusively made by our really good friend Darcy, aka DJ. I'm really tired. By DJ Boybath. And yeah, thank you so much, Darcy. He literally, the turnover was like 2 days. We asked him for our next podcast.
Mahalia, remix, and then bam, like 2 days later, he sent us a track.
Sorry, it wasn't even 2 days. It was 1 day later. He had that track ready, and he was like, "I'll have it ready for your first podcast." And I was like, "Sick."
Amazing.
Yes, but yeah. So because this wasn't written anywhere beforehand, disclaimer: we are going to be very unfiltered within this podcast, which means there may be some booby words. So depending who you're around, whatever platform you're watching us on, it's a little bit explicit, just FYI, hence why we're starting at 8 p.m.
Oui.
Oui.
So as you guys know, you guys have chipped in some topics for us to talk about today, and the first topic we're talking about the discrepancy between like female and male everyday life and like how we navigate
ourselves in the dance scene.
as women. Yeah, in everyday life and in the dance scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second topic is positives and negatives of being a dancer.
Yeah, which may be a very confronting question to some of you. You might be like, what's there to be negative about being a dancer? But sis,
we got this.
We got the tea.
Just tune in and just stay here and we'll tell you.
Also, a really exciting thing coming up at the end is we're going to have an Ask Me Anything little moment. So in the comments on IG, the comments on Facebook, that will happen at the end. Ask us anything you want and we'll answer them.
Yes, anything. I'm saying anything.
Oh, cool. And also big thanks to Alice for our Venus sign. Isn't it cute?
She spent so much time on this.
Yes, it's very cute.
She made this whole thing by herself.
Very, very cute.
Yes.
And our little palm tree and our lights. So, yeah, you guys ready? Let's get started.
Yes.
Alrighty. You want to start?
Do you want to talk about the event? Oh, we'll talk about the... We'll straight away get to the juicy shit. Alright.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to go with the...
So, over the past 2 weeks, there's been a lot happening in the world, and there's an event that's happening, I think it's happening now, happening shortly, but there were lots of representatives from different countries that were coming together for this particular competition. Now, around this particular competition, the issues that were arising from this situation that was happening was there was one woman in this particular team that was representing Australia. So there were countries like Spain and so forth, but the Australian team had one woman.
And 9 guys.
Yeah. So a lot of controversy came up within the comment section about women, how do I say this without sounding like a bitch? Why is there not more women within this team? Who put this team together? Why do we have to keep pushing? Why do we have to keep trying to have women representation within Australia and within the Australian scene? So what we might do to start with is I'll give you a bit of background. A lot of the comments were pretty much straight up, where are the women? Where are the women at? And a lot of women within the comment section were tagging other powerful, strong, beautiful women dancers. And yeah, so we're going to talk about that and how it leads into inequality with women throughout, not just dance, but yeah, we'll just give the tea on that.
So I spoke to one of the boys that were involved in the competition, and to be honest, when I first saw the poster, it didn't even cross my mind that there was only one girl in the team, legit, it didn't register. And when he spoke to me afterwards and asked me my view, it actually made me question myself. I was like, oh shit, like, am I being a bad woman because
Like you check
didn't,
yourself.
yeah, like I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
But for me, I think I told him, like, for me, maybe it was because, like, honestly, like, being part of the popping community, like, it is quite male dominant. Maybe now not so much, like, bless, so many girls have joined popping since. But I think when I first started, really it was just me, like Gabby, Amber, who else? Charlene. Like,
Ash.
it was like a handful of us. So I was very used to entering like battles and like entering ciphers where it's literally like sausage fest. Like, it's just all guys.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of got used to that and quite desensitized to seeing things like that. Oh, like for me, I was like, okay, cool. Like, at least there's one girl, you know. But I guess now thinking about, like, it would have made like so much difference if, you know, there were more girls in the team.
Question for you.
Yeah.
So I do find that with what you were saying, that you felt desensitized to it and didn't really seem as much of an issue for you when you first saw it just by glancing at it. Besides the fact that you kind of were brought up in the popping scene being primarily male dominated, are there any other factors besides dance, like in your life, that have then brought you to look at it and be like, oh, it's not too bad? Anything else that's happened in your life, or is it just strictly dance related?
Mainly dance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
to be honest, like, mainly dance. Outside of dance, I feel like my life is quite balanced. It's not like too much sausage fest. It's only in dance that sometimes, like, I'm in situations where I'm like, I look around and it's like literally like, wow, like, there's like 2 other girls here. Like, oh shit, okay, I gotta run now.
Let's go do it for the ladies. Okay, because the reason why, for the people who are watching, I'm asking that is because I do find a lot of the reason why, for example, you can feel desensitized to these kinds of things is the way you're brought up, who you're surrounded by. So, for example, I was brought up with majority of my best friends being male, right? And so...
She was that girl.
Well, no, because, like, for example, background on me, I was very much what you would call a tomboy, and I played in the dirt. When kids go to parties and get their face painted, I would get my face painted as if I got beat up and then blame it on my brother and be like, hey guys, Lewis beat me up, like my older brother. I know, I was weird. And then in primary school, I was the first girl to wear the boys' uniform because I didn't want to wear a dress. I was like, I can't play tip in a dress. Like, it's inefficient, doesn't work out, I need pants and stuff like that. So this is a big reason why I felt very, honestly, just checking myself, in high school, in that period of time, that wasn't a concern for me. I didn't think about it. I didn't really process that it was an issue, and it wasn't something that I was aware of, and like the ignorance was very much present throughout high school. Now that I've become older, and I didn't want to be that, you know, shy, introverted person anymore without, you know, recognizing what's going on around me, these are the things I really care about now because I just didn't think about it. So, yeah, that's why I was asking why, you know, this stuff was happening. But yeah, so do you have anything further on that?
What do you think after seeing it? Like,
Okay.
I know you've spoken to a few people, like, in relation to that event, and I want to know, like, your take on it, and, like, yeah.
So I actually saw it, and it's really funny because I was talking to someone about it, particularly one person, about it thoroughly. And I looked at it, and I was like, psh, what? One girl? But the girl who is in that team is someone that we're all really good friends with, and she's amazing, and we love her, and we're like, yeah, fuck yeah, like, get it, bitch, like, you deserve it, that's so cool. And then, kind of thinking about it, I was like, man, like, how much longer do women have to keep fighting to be in some form of spotlight? Just keeping it simple, like, no, like, deeper meaning to that than that. I just was wondering, like, I'm so passionate about women representation now at this point in my life because I remember being younger and having no self-confidence and then joining the dancing scene. I'm like, you're a bad bitch. You're a bad bitch. I love that fit on you, like, and all that. But yeah, so I was speaking to one particular person about it, and I actually, the comments were savage as. So the person who owned the account, who was replying to all the very upset and, how do I say, I'm not going to say distraught, but some people were very emotionally invested in the comment section because it's probably something in their own experience that they've seen over and over again. Why do we keep getting left out? Why is this team representing Australia have one woman in it? Like, why does this keep happening? So keeping in mind that we're all from different scenes. So the women who are commenting, I know who they are, but I, for example, haven't met some of them personally. I've seen them. Within our street dance scene, like, if we're going to create segregation, let's just say, the more commercial scene, and then you have the more street dance scene. And you know what? I see them at events. Destructive Steps plug is happening in December. Plug.
4th to 6th of December, yes.
Plug. So I saw a lot of these ladies at Destructive Steps last year rapping amazing. So a lot of them were commenting and just wanting answers. So the main issue for me was that no one was addressing these women's concerns in a way that acknowledges the questions that they're actually asking. Why is there not more than one woman in this team? No one really answered that in the comment section. The person who owned the account, though, I honestly believe, and I've said this to Tiff, and I've said this to the other people I was talking to, I really felt genuinely was doing his best to reply to the girls. Unfortunately, I did find a lot of the comments dismissive because, how do I say this?
But he didn't actually answer the question like you said. He
Yes.
just like suggested, we'll just stuff another like all-female team if you really want to be part of it. But
Yeah.
we're not trying to, like you said, be bratty about it and
Yeah.
like demand things.
Yeah.
But we just want an explanation. Why were we an afterthought?
Yeah.
And why weren't we, part of the consideration process?
Yeah.
You know.
And it also comes hand in hand with, like, Tiff and I have a lot of friends who run events, a lot of friends who are very strong females, and it's something we're really passionate about because when I feel like when women come together, like, we're a goddamn village. So, like, no matter who you are, what gender you are, whatever your sexuality is, whatever it is, like, we band together and we drive it. But we felt like in the comment section, everything was very dismissive. And honest to God, if there was just a straight up apology first for, all the things that were being said and not considering us as women to be a part of this process, I felt like there would have been less room.
It's not coming in. It was like coming in and it just stopped. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys.
What's up? It's very cold in here. So, yeah. I'm so distracted. Yeah, so pretty much it was more about if there had been an apology and an explanation in the first instance instead of letting this ride out for, I think it was 2 days, that created space for women and for me in particular to want to wonder, why aren't they addressing it? Are we not that important? Like, just being straight up, we're not that important to address. Like, someone talk to me, someone give me a comment and explain what's happening. But yeah, the organizer and the guy who owned the account, he did his best to reply. Unfortunately, again, it was quite dismissive and facts. We were still an afterthought. But I just wish it just was resolved sooner. But anyway, the person who made the post to clarify how the team came together, it makes sense. So it was a...
It's like, I'll invite my friends kind of
Yeah.
situation. Like, he didn't...
Connections.
It didn't cross his mind that, I need to, make sure there's, like, gender balance within the team. But for him, it was like, I want to do this event. I just want it to be fun. I want to invite my friends. So he just went. Which, likewise. I totally understand, but,
So if we had that explanation in the beginning, I do feel like it would have created less issues. But the fact that it took a little while to get a response, the comments were dismissive. Unfortunately, there were some men that made some really unnecessary comments. And I do feel like some people need to remember that, this doesn't apply to everybody. If it isn't necessary or if it isn't helpful or kind, then don't say anything at all. If you're not really adding to the fucking argument in a logical way, then just shut up. Sorry, I'm just keeping it blunt because...
And don't speak for us.
Yes. Don't tell us what to do.
Don't put words in our mouth and expect us to be like, yeah, like what he said. No. Like,
no. And that comes in hand with, I find, like, male privilege. And so as much as, I love men. I'm dating one. No hate. And no hate to the people involved. Like, really, I had some really good, and so did Tiff, some really good and dope conversations with the people involved. But I do hope that our friends, our male friends, and the males in our lives, they realize how much power you actually have. I do feel like white men have never, like, someone in the comment section, name when you've been oppressed. Women have been oppressed. People of color, black people have been oppressed, but white men have the privilege.
The top of the pyramid, guys.
Yeah,
so
naturally.
Acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying feel guilty or like.
Yes.
Actually, yeah, acknowledge your white guilt, but also like just know that you're in a position of privilege. I think that's
such a power.
Just being aware of that would change so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really sucked that I didn't find. Actually, no, I take that back. Hold on. With the comments, so there were a few men that were commenting, I felt very unnecessarily. I really hope those people now understand how much their words really impact. So a lot of the females who were commenting and females who had saw the comments were messaging me. Honestly, I've had a really overwhelming week because I felt like I needed to communicate to the people who were driving this conversation that no, we're not bratty. No, we're not complaining. We just want to be heard. And the women who were messaging me did not feel heard. But it's been dealt with the best it can. And I hope everyone involved has learnt from it. But we're not bratty. We're here to stay. And I feel like everyone should walk out of this a bit more switched on.
And we were saying how this is just one single event. It's not a huge deal. Just see it as an opportunity to learn and improve. And our scene is still progressing like any other scene. And they won't reach a point where everything's perfect. Throughout history, there's at no point in time was anyone perfectly satisfied with how
100%.
society and where they are in life. So
it's hard
the
to
same
please
with,
everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So just see this as an opportunity to learn and okay, next time we'll do better. And that's it. End of story. I think it's just learn from it.
And it's the whole do better. So I know some issues that were arising from the comments from women who were commenting was, so it all comes from personal experience. And so, for example, one girl A, she was commenting very aggressively and very emotionally. She was very passionate about her words. She's probably had experiences in her life that have led her to feel this passionate about it. Whereas, for example, Tiff was explaining how she felt desensitized a little bit to it because she had grown around men in the scene. It's all individual personal experiences. For me, it was the fact that no one was really understanding what these women were saying, why they weren't acknowledging what they were saying, apologizing, and no one ever complained about saying sorry too much.
Yeah.
And it just really sucked. So, that kind of navigates us now into inequality in general with our lives as women, living as women, and other things in the scene, and being a dancer as well we can talk about throughout.
So,
hit it.
One of the things that I realized guys don't have to do is going to juicy as my experiences on Tinder.
I've never been on a dating app, guys, and so I vicariously live through Tiff, and it's really exciting.
I tell her all about my Tinder stories.
It's
so
great.
Okay, guys, if you don't know already, I am on Tinder. Yes, swipe right if you see me.
But you have to get through me first.
Yeah. So one thing is one of my dates, I kind of asked him about what's your experience on Tinder? Because as a girl, I'm very cautious about how I use Tinder, and especially if I'm meeting up with the person. I make sure first date always in a public space where
be safe, ladies.
Yeah, where there's heaps of people. I always message my friends.
Tell someone
1 to 2 people where I'm gonna be tonight, just to make sure if I die, where I was last seen.
Honestly, I'm sorry, but yeah, just look after your friends, guys. Yeah. It's a new generation. Social media is popping, and it's very different nowadays. So yeah, tell your friends where you are.
So and then moving on. But the way he uses Tinder is he's oh, for a guy anything goes. I just shot. I don't really care who it is, where it is. He's just
physically.
I'll just be there. What's up? I'm here. So yeah, that. It was just shocking to me how much thought and preparation goes in for a girl going on that first date, but then for guys whatever, because I'm terrified. I don't want to get mugged or some shit.
Yeah, put yourself
in
a bad situation. And it also comes to question what has happened within our own lives that has then instigated us to be this way. So do you have any examples of things that have happened to you previously before Tinder? Pre-Tinder. Yeah, pre-Tinder.
Oh, should I talk about that student who harassed me?
This is very important. So this is something that really upset me that happened to Tiff, and I can go into my experiences later, but this is actually very important that we talk about this, because this is just some crazy shit. So just be safe, everybody. So it might be triggering for some, just FYI.
Yeah, I didn't really tell a lot of people. I only told Jasmine and Shazam, and that's it, pretty much, and maybe one other person. So
Alice, this is gonna be some news for you, and it's not good. It's sad. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had this student who had been coming to my classes quite a lot, and he's his personality is slightly awkward, a little bit socially awkward, which was cool. I have students and I'm cool, and then I try to chat with him from time to time and whatnot, and then slowly he would come to classes like way earlier before class time and would like try and talk to me and like give me life advice about like, oh, I don't think you should, make dancing your career. You should, be a doctor or a lawyer. And I was like, boy, what the fuck are you talking about? So I kind of like told him off like first time. That's first time, right? But and then he kept doing the same shit, messaging me on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, harassing me. And then one time he came to class with a bouquet of flowers, and I told him, look,
Gesture's nice.
Yeah, I appreciate this, but I made it very clear that, I have boundaries as a teacher and as a student. You need to respect those boundaries.
Yeah, respect the space.
And then the first time he was like, okay, and he took the flowers back. And I was like, cool. And I still taught the class and like let him keep participating in class. Because for me, it was just like at the time, like, okay, one off. Like I can forgive that. And like, even though I've expressed to him multiple times that, I need to respect these boundaries as a teacher. But he did it again. Like he came to class. He came 45 minutes earlier before class. And he like ambushed me. I was teaching a private at the time, and then I saw him walk by.
This makes me really angry, guys. So
and
if
I saw
I'm
that
not...
he had a bouquet of flowers in his hand. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, in my heart just sank, because I knew that as soon as this private ended, I have to go deal with this guy.
Yeah. So it's not that Tiff doesn't appreciate any of this, guys. Just please keep that in mind. It's just, as a woman, this is literally how we feel. Sometimes we don't feel flattered. We feel literally scared, like, oh no, and anxious. Oh, how do I deal with this? I don't want to be seen as a bitch and, just be like, F you and your feelings. But when it's really unwarranted, what do you do?
And it wasn't like the first time he did it. It was like after multiple times of like things happening and like me telling him, okay, like I appreciate it, but this needs to stop because it's making me uncomfortable. I've explicitly told him how I felt, and he still continued to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
And after that time, I again said like, look, this is like too much, and I had to go into the receptionist's office
To feel safe.
And then one of the receptionists, he was a guy, and then he was like, oh, do you want me to like talk to him? And he helped me like ask the guy to leave because he wouldn't leave, and like just kept like just hassling me, like just he wouldn't leave and just kept wanting to talk to me. I was like, look, bro, like I've told you what I needed to tell you, and this is final. You have to leave. So he left and he didn't take class. I was like, okay. And I was like shaking already.
I'm getting numb. Numb with anger.
Yeah. And then fast forward like maybe like a week, 2 weeks later, he kind of like stopped showing up to class. Mind you, he took every single class I taught at Dance Central and at Crossover. Showed up to every single class that I taught. And it just got to a point where I was stressed, you know?
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have to stress about your students like this. Not in this way, at least.
You should feel safe going into your space.
Okay, we're going to get into the meaty part of what happened.
Now, this might be triggering for some people, so do keep that in mind. Now, Tiff was not hurt or injured, just a disclaimer. But it does make me feel very numb and just really unhappy that how do you draw the line clearer for people?
So again, I was so normally when I go teach, I park near the studio. This is not a Crossover, this is Dance Central, and then I parked near the studio. And I was just chilling in my car. I still had like 30 minutes to go before class, so I usually roll down my windows. I was chilling in my car, and then out of my peripheral, I see this figure coming closer to my car, and I looked to my side, and it was him walking towards my car, and he had a white plastic bag with a box in it. And with everything that's happened, like, I was just terrified because I knew he had like intentions to pursue me or whatever.
You're by yourself.
I was by myself. He had a bag with something that I didn't know what it was inside.
And your mind's getting creative, like, okay, where do I run?
Yeah,
What's in that bag? Is it dangerous?
Like, I was just freaking out, right?
Yeah.
So I panicked, and I didn't have enough time to roll up my windows because my car is fucking old, guys. It's not like one of those older ones where
it's got the handle, yo.
I have to like physically roll it up, and I was like, and I didn't want to like panic and make him like get triggered more. So I just didn't know. So I just froze, and then he came up to my car, and this was the point where like I literally like I was shaking. Even now, my voice. I know. I'm talking about this. Yeah. He leaned in through my window and had his arm over the window like sill.
Personal space. Never get into someone's.
So with him doing that, like I literally couldn't move my car. Like I don't want to like hurt anybody. but I was like stuck, you know, that feeling where you're like so trapped and helpless.
Feel
Like,
paralyzed.
yeah, I was like, fuck, I can't do anything. And then basically he was just explaining to me like, you know, he wants to apologize, but he also wanted to tell me like shit about like that's just fluff. So he wanted to give me a letter, and I was like, I don't want to read anything that you have to say. I've made it very clear that I don't want to talk to you, and you know, I feel quite uncomfortable and unsafe with you around at this point. And he still wouldn't leave. And then basically I just like, okay, fine, put down the letter. And then he proceeded to talk about a bunch of stuff. I can't really remember. It was a blur because I was so scared. Like I was just high on adrenaline at the time that everything was a blur. All I wanted was him to leave. So he again like said a bunch of stuff, and then he finally left. And I couldn't roll my windows up faster. I like literally closed my car door and ran to the studio, and I was fucking shaking. And I told the receptionist what happened, and basically they agreed to finally ban him from the studio, which I felt like took a little bit too long, but it's okay. And yeah, like it was just too much at the time.
And so, to any males who are watching on the IG Live or on the Facebook Live, we would love to hear your comments as to, for example, you know, basic baseline. He was just really interested in Tiff and then couldn't shake off this feeling of, I need to talk to her, like, I need to fix things, make things right. But why did he keep going? Like, why did he feel the need to keep going, to keep talking to her when we feel like it's straight up harassment? So guys, because it's Tiff, it does make me really angry, and it makes me sad because when you know your friends by themselves, you just feel really helpless while they tell you these things. And you know, this happens honestly every day. And for example, I went to get lunch yesterday or the day before, across the road, I can't talk today, across the road from my work. I was speaking to my partner. I hung up the phone. 3 seconds later, I am getting catcalled. Like, I have never been catcalled ever in my life. And it made me feel like sick in my stomach. Some of the things they were saying, I don't know if I should say it. Can I say it? Yeah? Yeah, okay, sorry if this triggers anybody.
Just say it.
He was like, oh, you know, I love Asians. Oh, your hair looks so nice, darling. Oh, you're so hot. Fuck me, blah, blah, blah. And just, it was really aggressive. And I thought, I just want to get my Subway. I just want to get my lunch. And I just felt sick. And I just kept walking and ignored it. And I could still hear him. And even when I went into the store, which was like a good 20 meters away from it, I could still feel that. I still had that heavy feeling of, what if he's out there? What if he tries to talk to me? What if he tries to touch me? Like, and I try to think of ways to like go around him. Like, should I cross the road? But then I can't get into my office if I go the other way. Or can I go around? That's a really long way to get into work. And I hope that people watching understand that this literally happens all the time. And how are we meant to go for walks? How are we meant to go for runs and not think about these things? And I remember being a teenager and my dad being like, no, you can't go. And I'd be like, you know, buddy.
Why?
Yeah, why?
I'm 12. I can take care of myself.
Pretty much. Oh, wait, I think I was like 16 or 15 at the time. And I was like, I want to go. And he'd always be like, no, you have to be back before dark. And I'm like, why? I'm with my friends. It doesn't matter. It does matter. Now that I've grown older, I'm like, I don't feel safe. I really don't. And I just really hope that, for example, my male friends and our male friends use their platforms to kind of bring these things up more or talk about it more, because teach us how to deal with it. Teach us
like how to draw the line.
Yeah, how do we communicate with you? We're all human, right? But it's really tricky, because I've only ever replied in anger, and I'll be honest, because I feel like, why do you think you can talk to me like that? Who raised you? Granted that, you know.
And yeah, I want to say like that trauma from like things like this don't just end when the guy is out of your sight. That sense of fear continues even after the event. So for me, like after that guy like left, he never came to class again. But I remember maybe the month after, every time I finished class, I wouldn't go home first. I would drive because Shazam lives close by to Dance Central. I'm not going to reveal his address, but
even if you don't want it, you're not going to get it.
He lives close by, so I used to drive to his house. I would stay there for at least 30 minutes before I drove home because I was so scared of being like trailed or like whatever. And like the fact that it affected my sense of safety and
Your mental
everyday
health,
life.
straight up.
Exactly. I was like, fuck this guy. Like, I was just so stressed, and yeah, it was just too much.
Yeah, I've heard stories from multiple friends, and it's not just males. Let's keep it real. A friend of mine was previously a long time ago harassed by another female, and we just want more conversations about it. And eventually, we would love to bring people on board who can have these hard conversations with us, even teach us techniques of like defending ourselves, because there's too many scary stories. There's a recent story in the news of a woman who was assaulted in broad daylight by a man who used his belt and wrapped it around her neck in broad daylight on the street. She was just going home. And it's honestly, I don't think it's going to stop, but we need to look after each other. And I really hope that we can use this platform as a way to help educate people. And eventually we could bring people on who can teach us these things and have these hard conversations and have a man's perspective as to what could possibly be going through someone's mind to do these things.
Yes, so that's that. Should we move on? Because we like spoke so long on that topic.
I know, because I think it's really important though, because I bet you there are females here watching who could tell us in the comments something that's happened to them. Not that you have to, but we do have a question from
For the other guys though.
Yep. So as a guy who thinks it is fucked, if you were witnessing this, would you have called the guy out, or if it was your friend who was doing it, would you call him out? So that's actually a message to the men who are watching. So Rhonda's just commented in our IG live, and she's pretty much asking the men who are present during this stream, if you saw someone doing it, would you call them out? And if it was your friend, would you check them? Because another thing I like to think of, what if it was your sister? What if it was your
mom,
your girlfriend, your grandma, your auntie, whoever, or someone who identifies as a woman? Are you going to do your bit by calling them out? Yeah. And it's something that's been really hard for me to deal with, but I've learnt to stand up for what I think.
You just got to call them out. Like, honestly, they'll probably shit their pants if they get called out, so just call them out. Not most people, they say things because they think there's no, like, what do you call it, like, consequences. I was like, mind blank, what is the word?
Pause in the mouth. Like,
so people say things because they think there's no consequence, but when they realize that, oh, what I say is going to be called out and it actually affects other people, that's when they start thinking, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't say certain things. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And it's funny because, I've had a friend of mine, for example, we're overseas and we're on a train. And I'm very, culturally aware. And I'm like, okay, this is in Japan, I need to be quiet, I need to be respectful, and all that good stuff. And the friend that I was with, legs spread out, didn't really care who was around them. And I was calling him out on his shit, just culturally, like, dude, you can't do that. Like, be respectful of the space. And he was just like, oh, I can do that, I'm white. And I'm like,
what?
Yeah. Like a foreigner.
That was a legit, like,
I was like, bruh, like, you my friend, but you stupid. Yeah, and so, like, check your friends. And, it wasn't coming from a place of, like, hate. It was like, I care about you, and I just want you to know that this is affecting others in a negative way, so.
Yeah. When you see people do things, like, see it as an opportunity to educate. Don't come up as, like, oh, my God, what the fuck are you doing? Like, get all, like, squared up and aggressive. Like, always, like, reply in a manner that, I'm here to kind of help you. Like, I'm not here to, like, really judge you and, like, give you shit. It's just, like, I want you to be a better person.
Yeah, straight up.
Let's move on, okay? So that was topic 1, inequality. Make sure you...
Oh, yeah, anything to close that off in regards to inequality. So inequality is such a strong discussion, and we could talk about for a whole podcast, but we do have to keep it rather short, guys, because we do have another topic to talk about. If you want to comment anything or ask us any questions as well, you can on our Facebook or message us or Instagram, or comment within the streams,
and we
are
have
checking
a little Q&A session at the very end, so you can wait till then too.
Yeah, but for now we'll move on, but thank you for tuning in on that particular part.
So the next topic is the positives and negatives of being a dancer.
I think everyone's gonna relate so hard.
I made a full-on table with the positive and negative on my laptop right now.
I think I need my glasses.
So I'll start with a positive.
Glasses are on.
First one, we can hit the clubs like nobody else.
And it's
we've been killing it.
No, it's funny because, like, I remember a few years ago, like, Brooke, me, and, like, some of our other friends, we'd always go to, like, the clubs in Wollongong. No hate, I love where I'm from, but, man, the clubs suck. The music sucks. And I used to have a friend who would always be the resident DJ at one particular club, and it was always good. And I was like, yes, Kiri's here. It's going to be a good time. And now he has spread his wings and left Wollongong for Sydney. And honestly, it's never been the same. It's never been the same. And yeah, so how do you see the scene, like clubbing wise, and how's it positive and how's it negative in that sense? If you want to just stick to that quickly.
First of all, we know how to vibe. Like,
Yeah.
I remember I went clubbing with Will once. We went like clubbing like spontaneously. We went to like
Just
Ivy.
felt like it.
Yeah, it was like after training. I looked like shit. I was wearing like an ugly ass like black long sleeve t-shirt and some sweats. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go clubbing. And then we went.
No prep.
And when we went in, the whole place was dead. Like, it was so dead. Like, no one was dancing.
What day was it?
It was like a Friday night.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, it was a Friday night, and it was dead. It was packed though. But it was dead. You can feel the energy, you know.
The
like,
energy,
people were
yeah.
kind of just like bopping. And me and Will just went in. And we turned that place up. Like, think about it. Like, just two dancers having fun can change the energy of a space completely.
People are engaged. They
You
want to
know,
join in. They
we
get their
just-
phones out.
Yeah. I feel like as a dancer, we have this power to transform energy and
100%.
to, you know, permeate a space with like this incredible energy that everyone can vibe with and have fun. Whether or not they're a dancer or not, like they can feel it. Yeah. Like at battles as well.
Sorry, I'm just checking. Did the live just lag?
We're frozen. Is it just you?
Sorry, guys. We're just checking if we're frozen.
No,
On
on
Facebook?
Facebook Live.
Are we Gucci?
Maybe it's just your laptop.
Maybe it's just me, guys. Sorry. We'll move on. But yes. Oh, we Gucci. Oh.
The live stream stopped.
Hold on. Instagram people. Give me 1 second. So we're just checking to make sure that we're all good on the Facebook.
Hey, if you're on Instagram and on Facebook, is the Facebook Live still working?
Hit us in the comments, Instagram people. Hit us in the comments. Give us a thumbs up.
And just let nope, it's not working, or nope, it is still working. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, let's just keep going then.
All right, we're Gucci. Stream seems fine. IG seems better than Facebook. You know why? 'Cause it's my iPhone 11 J1. Let's go. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thanks,
Yeah.
Angelica. Hello, how are you? All right, so back to the point.
Okay, related to the same point, a negative that I came up with was that it always happens to me. Like every time I go out, I get pushed out by randoms to battle. They're like, "Oh my god, you can dance! Go battle this."
Can you do a head spin?
Yes. Oh my god, I don't understand
Head spin.
why do you think we can all do head spins? Like,
It's really funny because for the people who are outside of that environment who just see it on TV, it's the glamorized thing. So, you know, what's impressive? A B-boy or a B-girl, that's what's going to like catch their eye. So that's probably just what they remember. And the amount of times you go to work and you're drawing the comment of, so what else do you do? And you're like, oh, I'm a dancer. What kind of dancing?
you spin
Hip-hop.
on your head.
Like, oh, no, the other week, because I'm in a new job at the moment, and my manager, he's so lovely. He's the coolest. But he was like, can you do the thing? And I was like,
What thing?
what thing? I'm like, I can dance. And you know the thing where like, this thing. And I was like, oh, no. But I know people who can. Not me. I'm not your girl.
And it's crazy, like, because there were a few times where, like, obviously a lot of people who are at the clubs are drunk. Totally fine with that, but like,
Joanne's triggered. He's triggered.
Joanne, relax, big
It's
boss,
okay. It's
relax.
okay. It's okay.
But yeah, like they get quite aggressive about like,
Yeah.
especially like for me, like when I go out as a dancer, like I'm not there to battle. Like I just want to have a good time, enjoy music, jam out with my friends, and you
Yeah.
know, maybe you know, get a boy, whatever on the dance floor. But
yeah, I can't
like, my
relate.
goal is to just have fun and not
Yeah.
feel that pressure of, oh, I have to prove myself and like do something crazy. But
Yeah.
there's like people who just keep pushing you out, like,
Yeah.
no, go, like I know you can dance. I was like, bitch, I know I can dance.
Can you?
Like,
Can you?
yeah, exactly. Period. Like, we're done here.
Oh.
You want to battle, you can go.
Yeah, and they whip out their phones. Like, oh, I've had it actually happen to me before where this was a few years ago. I used to go out with Johnny, Bubbles, and my friend Freddie, like, all the time. And there'd be the occasional guy who'd walk up to me and he'd be like, oh, like, try to dance with me. And I'm just being polite. And as a dancer, you just react. You're exchanging, so you just keep dancing, even though this person's really offbeat and they're kind of just, like, wiggling around. And you're just like, yep, get it. Like, yeah, get it. And you hype them up because you're a kind person. You're like, yeah, get it. It's so good. So offbeat, but so good. And then it turns into something else because you've exchanged. And then they think, oh.
They see it as an invitation.
Oh, she wants a piece of this. I really don't. I really do not.
But yeah, just politely decline or just walk away. They usually they get the hint, but if they put hands on you, fucking mother karate chop that shit.
And so that's one big difference, like you said, like going to a club environment, it's like you can just dance with anybody and it's exchanging. It's just like you feel it. But then just someone who's not in that environment, it's like she wants some or he wants some. No, we don't. We're Gucci. We're good.
Should we move on to the next positive?
Andrew goes, Jasmine is being so savage. I'm just being honest.
She's speaking the truth.
Yeah,
brother.
so, you know, I can't relate to all these Tinder things because I've actually never been on a dating app and I've been dating G since I was like 20, 21. And so, peace out, Andrew. Alice says, I've had a friend's friend yell at me because I was making them feel bad about their dancing because I was just vibing.
They're just insecure.
Yeah, it's not you, babe. It's probably just because your friends are feeling a little bit insecure with their own dancing. I've actually had that happen to me too. Have you ever been told, like, stop? Like, don't stop. Oh,
no,
okay.
I think I'm that bitch. I was just like, no, I'm going to keep going.
Because, like, I have a lot of friends who aren't dancers that I used to go out with, and they kind of just be like, stop it. You make me look bad. And I'd be like, huh? What do you mean? What are you talking about? And then you just keep going because you're having the best time ever. And it's
if
like,
you ever felt like that, like, as in not being the good dancer, like, don't. Like, everyone's out there to have fun. It's freaking dark.
Yeah.
No one's paying attention. Like, if you're having fun, everyone will have fun.
Yeah.
If you're going to be partying,
bring the vibe, bring
like,
the energy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you might feel uncomfortable, but I can guarantee you, like, no one's thinking about that. Like, no one.
Yeah.
Everyone's there to have their own fun. I'm not, like, there to be responsible.
Facts.
Oh, my God, is she having fun? She's having too much fun. I must stop
Settle
that.
down. Settle
Yeah,
down.
like, I'm not going to be, like, policing her amount of fun, right?
Hey, you look way too fucking good right now.
But yeah, like, just have fun. Like, just chill out, vibe out, be yourself, feel comfortable.
Yeah, when we're allowed to go out again, we'll have a big
distancing, guys.
So, yeah, we'll have a big party when that's allowed to happen. So, well, I can't relate to this next one, so Tiff can bring this one up.
This next positive, again, relates back to Tinder. I have this as a point. On my Tinder profile, my occupation is dance instructor, and it always starts good conversation. So that's a huge bonus point for dating apps. Like, it's just a great convo starter. Just putting it out there, guys.
Yeah.
Mention that you're a dancer. People love it.
Yeah. I do in my, like, everyday life, if I've been asked, like, what do you do? And then this will lead into a negative. So it's a really good conversation starter, and they ask me, oh, where you been? Do you travel for your dancing? And I really do appreciate someone actually asks me these questions because they're actually invested, they want to know more. But then it turns into oh yeah, but what's your real job? And sis, this is my job. This is what makes me happy. This is what helps me, you know, build up my income. And I don't. And I think a lot of dancers who are watching, and teachers or instructors, whoever, student teachers who are watching can relate. I don't like how it's seen as something that isn't English is something that's able to be seen as an occupation and can pay your bills. And sis.
Yeah, and that's one of the negatives I put down, like the fact that as dancers we're always misunderstood by people around us who aren't in our community and doesn't see that, you know, dance is actually a viable career option. You just have to work your ass off. Like, no lies, any occupation you have to work your ass off, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I've had personally a lot of fights with my dad, especially growing up about
Big
dancing.
love there, Papa Nung.
Yeah, like honestly, like he just worried for me. Like, I totally understand, like, from a parent's standpoint.
Facts.
But yeah, like, growing up, like, he didn't understand that, you know, there are like opportunities out there that is like dance related. I think because for them, like, their generation, you know, they didn't have the privilege of pursuing arts as a career because it was just a different time. But now, like, you know, with social media,
it's
all of this, like, video platforms, like, dance, like, it's totally, like,
the past 10 years,
doable occupation. Yeah.
And, you know, big props and big thanks to the people in our scene who really paved the way for us. So I would say, like, what was it? Even, who was it? I think Taz commented before. Oh, yeah. So he used to be in Justice Crew. And so I remember, like, years ago, I think I was in high school at the time, and I saw them on television on Australia's Got Talent, and I was like, whoa, they are so cool. And, you know, there are just little things like that kind of really motivate, inspire people to, like, pursue it. And I remember having these conversations with my parents, and same as Tiff, also being of Asian ethnicity. It was a standard get your ass into uni and do this and do that. And as much as, you know, I would consider myself an angel of a child, I was very much also in my head like, no. I had this urge, and I think a lot of people who are watching can relate. You have that fire inside of you, and as much as you,
I know I can do it.
I
just
believe
need that opportunity.
Yeah, I
to do
believe
it.
in myself. I want you to believe in me. And I think for my parents, I think it took a lot of years for them to really be like, oh, this isn't just a hobby for her. Like, I had to kind of convince them over the course of a few years that I'm working really hard. Like, I'm working so hard to save money, to go and travel, to be a better dancer. I'm investing in myself, which in turn will then help me be the best professional dancer I can be. And I think it's just turned out for the best because now my little brother dances. And so he's in a career, he's got to represent Australia and stuff. So he dances with us at Street Beats. And yeah, so that was something that did take a long time, a few years and a lot of tears. I'm a rapper now. So yeah.
Related to this topic, I just want to quickly like talk about this thing that Jun showed me. It was really interesting. It's like a video of Popping J explaining like, you know, portrayal dance. So we, to our parents, we are the face of dance. If that makes sense. So their whole like concept of dance is through you. You're the prism. So don't react in a way that's like, oh, why don't you understand me? They're trying to understand you because you're the only person they have access to the dance scene.
To that information.
Yeah, exactly. So again, like take that as an opportunity to like show them, to educate them, to show them that, oh, this is what I do. And don't react in a way that's like super negative and super harsh, you know.
Sorry, I'm just skipping through
no
comments.
parent, you know, wants to, you know, like press you down or anything. Like they just want to understand you. So yeah, like just take note that you are the face of dance for your parents or like for your family. Yeah, and how you react will also
in turn,
yeah, represent like what the dance is. So that's why I say like
invite
actually,
them to
like,
things.
Yeah, I feel like dance, the image of dance in media has changed a lot. It used to be like seen as like, oh, like especially my dad's generation, he always think like, oh, all dances like drop kicks, you know.
Yeah.
They didn't graduate uni, blah blah. But like I think now he understands that like, oh, a lot of dancers actually did uni. Some of them have like they're like professionals, like lawyers, doctors,
business
whatever.
owners,
Exactly,
successful.
So you just have to take time to like help them wrap their head around this.
Yeah. You're successful in your own right. Sorry, you don't need to have like a high profile like job position to be successful as a dancer as well. Let's bring it across to another positive. Tiff, which one do you reckon? There's plenty of positives. Which one tickles your fancy? Blah.
I think the music thing, like, I think through dance,
okay. Yep.
I got to know a lot more about music theory, like different artists, producers. I used to think music was just like music. I didn't know that.
Sound.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like
play for my ears.
like a lump of sound. Like I didn't know that.
What is that? What is a lump of sound?
Like, there's like producers behind it.
Yeah.
You know, you have
The
people who
creativity.
make the beats, people who do the vocals. I thought everyone, just like one person did everything. You know what I mean? Like, but through dance,
no team.
I learned to like research about music and like just it's amazing. Like, and we have friends around us who do music as well, like Darcy Boybap.
Oh, hit him up.
You know, Shazam's starting to learn a little something. Yeah. So yeah, like
wait for his songs, guys. Wait for his bars. Oh, sorry.
We're hella
sorry
loud.
if we're so loud, guys. Alice is instructing us to move our mics away because we're getting a bit too comfortable in this space. But yeah, so totally agree. So I really appreciate. So my partner Chi, he's really invested in hip hop music, and so he tells me random facts like all throughout the different weeks. Oh, did you see this thing with Trippie Redd, or like all these different artists and all these songs that are coming out? He really tries his best to keep up to date and explains things about the newer generation of hip hop music and newer generation of stuff that's coming out. Oh, no one can hear me?
I was making a Nardwuar reference.
Oh, hold on. Can anyone hear me? Why is Joe laughing? Are they laughing because they can't hear me? Let me repeat myself. Sorry. So anyway, to preface all that, my partner Chi really invests in keeping up to date with hip-hop music, especially with what's been coming out recently, and is always sharing stuff on his Instagram stories because it's something that genuinely interests him, and I've learned a lot through him, especially with the newer generation of hip-hop music. And I would like to say that he helped me navigate my way through. So I would you know, I'm checking myself. I used to like a certain era of hip hop music, and I didn't really expand outside of that. And I still love it, but I grew a bigger appreciation for different generations across different styles. Because I'm a concert kind of girl. Like I was, okay, let's say 10 years ago, I had, more than 10 years ago, sorry, I had like, you know, the 8 Cabramatta Asian mushroom haircut that was like all like voluminous up here, then like strands here. I had thick eyeliner, studded belts, Converse and band shirts, and I was going to concerts.
Insert photo now.
Oh no, you wish. But yes, I was going to like no, not next week. But I go to like Guns N' Roses, I go to Linkin Park, I was going to like Amity Affliction, all that like crazy stuff. And I'm so grateful that I went through that phase, because now for all styles of music, I have a better appreciation for it and what goes into it. Like Tiff was saying, the creative process and the emotions behind it. What is the song trying to say? Or is it just a banger for you to feel good to? You know? Because invest your time into understanding.
But with that being said, like, I'm going to move into the con of this side of the story, is that, like, I find that because I've learned so much about music, and, you know, being a dancer, you learn to pick apart the layers of music, and, like, you know, I can pick apart, oh, like, this is just the bass, this is the snare, and like, poppers do that all the time. It's like listening exercise, right? I feel like I can't. I can't.
Am I hitting?
Yeah, like polyrhythms, blah, blah. Like, I find that sometimes now when I hear new music, my brain instantly jumps to that. Like, I'm analyzing the song rather than, like, really just enjoying it for what it is. And
just
I feel
melting
like,
into
I feel like dance kind of ruined music for me. Kind of like, you know, when, like, you start learning about film and, like, you study film, you can't look at a movie
like a designer.
Yeah.
Like
Start critically thinking about everything.
Yeah. Like my friend Danny, so he's in our crew with me. So he is a designer as well. And so he was saying that he can't look at, for example, a lounge or a piece of artwork and not dissect it. Oh, okay, it was this palette, it was this shape, and they muted that into this, and that's what develops this. That's the image they're going for. What is this trying to say? And he just keeps trying to dissect it, and I'm just like, bruh, it's just a pretty painting. But I do appreciate the creative process. So I totally agree with Tiff, because I do that too, especially making choreography as well. Okay, Joe. Oh my God, Sam! I thought it was just me. No, Liddy, it's not just you, babe.
All of us.
And J1 says, have you ever come across any shade thrown at you from other dance styles like ballet, jazz, modern, tap dances? How did you deal with it?
Honestly, like, no.
But you?
I feel like actually a lot of dancers from, like, the classical side actually love hip hop, and, like, they like seeing, especially, like, if they've been dancing for a while, they know how to appreciate different dance styles. And a lot of them are very open to learning and wanting to know more about it.
Mm-hmm. Is that your experience?
Yeah, in my experience. Like, I haven't really received any shade or anything.
I'm just trying to think about it, because I do find that with our personalities, I feel like we as people wouldn't necessarily receive it, because we're quite like, hey guys, what's up? We're quite happy-go-lucky. I have taught at a lot of different schools and high schools who do offer those classical styles. And if anything, they do enjoy it because it's so different, and it's probably a lot more free in the sense of we encourage it. Hey, yep, learn this move. All right, now how can you do it your way? You know, that creativity. Whereas I do find in classical styles, you do have to, you have that strict technique. The only thing that I probably have found is behavior. So, in a lot of classical style students that I've taught, they are very well groomed. They're very attentive and very quiet. Whereas I walk in, I'm like, what's up? Let's go, guys.
Just loud.
Hey, let's go. And then I'll be so loud, and it's quite shocking to some of them. And I was teaching at a school, and one student told me, do you mind not speaking so loud? But she was a child. She genuinely didn't think it was rude. It was probably just overwhelming for her because she's been in a very quiet environment. Again, it's your own experience. So she hasn't experienced someone being in your face like, yes, get it! And found it probably very alarming. But I had to politely check this student because I was very alarmed myself at trying to play it cool. Like, oh, okay, are you okay? Is something wrong?
Yeah.
No? Okay, I'm going to keep teaching.
I think the only shade I've received is, like, kind of like that. It's not directly at my dance style, but it's more like me as a person, like, being loud and shit. Because I used to do classical ballet, but there was a time where it overlapped, where I did, like, street styles and ballet at the same time. And I would bring the same energy that I brought to, like, a hip-hop class to my ballet class. And likewise, I was so loud, and I was, like, clowning. Like,
watch this pure wet.
Yeah. I was just like a ruckus in class. I
Check out
remember
the
like
spell.
my teacher and like fellow students. Some of them like accepted it. Some of my teachers loved it. Like they enjoyed like that I brought a different energy. But some were like, oh my god, can you shut up? So yeah, but not so much like specific targeted towards me being a hip hop dancer, but more me as a person, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like time and space, time and place, time and place. Like for example, if I walked into an environment where it was predominantly classical dancers, I would respect their environment. I wouldn't be up in there screaming, or being hype as much as I would normally.
I think we should
What time is it?
move on to Q&A. It's 9.
Oh, okay, 9. So is there anything? Alice goes, go on for as long as you want.
Hey, should we ask them? Like, do you guys want us to go through a few more positives and negatives, or you want to go straight into Q&A? Like,
Yeah.
What do you guys want? Tell me.
Yeah, because usually the goal is for an hour because we do find people's attention span isn't that great after an hour. But do you guys want us, write in the comment section on Facebook and on the IG Live if you want us to keep going about positive and negatives, or we should start the Q&A when it comes to Tiff
We only
and I.
have like 3 more positives and like 2 more negatives to go through, but
Yeah.
up to you guys.
Because you can actually ask us questions. It can be directed at Tiff. It can... Oh, Lydia's like, yes, girl. More play.
I was like, keep going.
Yes.
I'm okay.
AMA.
What?
Ask me anything. Oh.
Okay.
Sorry, I
I was like, who that?
So, a positive, which we can talk about how we met, is the community and friends you build within your community of dance. So, I like to say, I said this to Hadley and our Wild Style team for Hip Hop Nation. Plug Hip Hop Nation is tomorrow, 5 p.m. Check it.
I'm gonna be hosting, just saying.
You get double Tiff on the weekend, guys. So I was saying, to be honest, I probably wouldn't have any friends if it wasn't for dance.
Big facts. Oh my god, biggest facts. Like I would have. I'm such a loner. Like, can I just quickly say something? At uni, if Smarthy, if you're watching this, bless you. Because I remember when I first joined uni, I joined Mod Sock, right? But then I was so scared to just hang out with them at Tyree. I used to be in the library during break, lunch and recess. I would just sit in the library alone, studying and eating alone. And then one time I came out of
Tiff. For Tiff, how would you do? Oh wait, that's after.
I'll talk about it. So when I left the library one day, I bumped into Smart, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like,
just chilling by myself.
I was just eating lunch by myself alone in the library. He's like, "What the fuck? Just come to Tyree and hang out." And that was the rest was history. Because of dance and because me being in Modstock and him recognizing me, he brought me into the community, and I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for him dragging me to Tyree building.
Props to you.
Yes, sorry. Continue.
Oh no, same for me. So how I started was I used to volunteer at my local PCYC in Wollongong, and so we used to run. Don't give me shit, guys. We used to run under 18s, and so me and my friends at the time would work with the police officers and the staff there to run it. And when I was that age, an old friend of mine was like, "Hey, so there's these hip hop classes going on in the hall, the regular school hall that's just around the corner from your house." And I was like, "Sick." Who does it end up being? It's 19-year-old Brooke.
That's crazy.
19-year-old Brooke. I was 16 at the time. And I was like, yeah, I'll come. I'll watch. I'll come. So then I went, and, it's so funny. I went, and then I never looked back. And I was the only person in Brooke's classes for a little while, and then eventually more people came. And it was such a pivotal point in my life because I was going through some shit. It was to do with family. It was socially. I was a very different person as I imagine you were when we were in high school. And I was, how do I say, introverted 100%. And if I didn't walk into that hall, and I remember the day because I was looking at the flyer that my friend gave me, I don't know, should I do it? But I was like, nah. I've watched so many movies like Breakin', Jessica Alba and Honey. Okay, don't come for me, but I love that fucking movie.
I love it
too. She's so beautiful. And just the music and Missy Elliott, just yes, lots of grunts. That pivotal moment. I remember being in my bedroom. I lived in Balgownie on Hunter Street, and I don't live there anymore, so it doesn't matter. And I just remember being so scared, but then I went and never turned back, and I'm so glad I did. I met some of my best friends, and we've been going on for more than 10 years, and it was the best decision I ever forced myself to do. And I was a really shy kid, and so without that, I wouldn't literally know you. I wouldn't know you. I wouldn't know any of you in the live. I wouldn't know any of you on Facebook. And I wouldn't get to travel the world with some of my closest friends and experience these things. And so
1 minute left on Instagram Live.
Yep. So guys, on the IG Live, It's going to cut out in exactly probably 1 minute, but we'll reconnect it. So just FYI. Okay? But yeah.
I'm going to answer Joe's question about, for me, how would university life be different if I wasn't a dancer? So I think, because I'm the type, I have to move. Like, I need to be part of something. So I think I would have joined the Muay Thai club or some shit. I did Muay Thai, like, for a little bit in the first semester of uni. I actually really liked it, but
badass.
yeah, it clashed with dance team, so I chose dance team over Muay Thai. And another thing, I'll probably be an LG, not gonna lie. I'll be like with the...
Explain to the people what LGs are.
They're like the ones with the, the gray hair, dragon tattoo and shit.
Like
Asian baby girl kind of type,
That's going to cut out, so we'll rejoin live. Just hold out for us, people.
My phone's dying, by the way. But yeah, I would be an ABG, for sure.
All right, so hold on, Facebook people. We're just reconnecting on the IG for those who are watching us there. And just give Alice just a moment. We're going to reconnect and answer Joe One's other question, and then we're going to
Alice is like, let me fix that.
Oh, look. What is this? A gongcha.
Water break.
Yeah, you're good. I'm not.
Now I'm so happy that we're doing the podcast today because I haven't put makeup on or like dressed up in over like a month.
We're looking good. Like,
so I was like, let me beat my face. Let me put some highlighter on so I'll be glowing.
All right, so let's connect on here. All right, Facebook people, thank you so much for holding out with us. It won't be that much longer. And we're back. We back. What's up? Hey, Amber. Hey, Liddy. What's up? Hey, Tanya. Okay, Angelica, Joe One, we're back, baby. All right.
Did you see what Joan asked you?
So, Joe, I vaguely remember your question. Sorry.
Appreciate different cultures.
Socially different. How I appreciate different cultures.
Yeah.
Wait. Say it again.
Like, I think through dance, how did you learn to like appreciate different cultures or something like that?
So, Joe One's question was pretty much how did I have a better understanding socially to interact with different cultures? Is that what you're saying?
Something like that. Joanna, if you want it.
Influence your social understanding of different cultures?
Oh, honestly, so much. So, for those who don't know, thanks for joining, everybody. And so, for those who don't know, do you want to tell them your nationality first, and then I'll tell them mine, then I'll go on with my story about cultures?
I'm Chinese. Well, I'm from I was born and raised in Hong Kong up until the age of 17, and I moved here in 2016. For those of you who don't know, I haven't been here forever. I moved here in 2016. I'm a fob. So, yes.
Damn. So guys, I lived in Australia my whole life, so I am a concoction of things. I'm Maori, for those who don't know, I'm from New Zealand. I'm also Vietnamese through my dad's side of the family. I'm also colonizer white Australian, whatever that is. But I'm also Indigenous, so I am Aboriginal, for those who don't know. And so Joe's question was, how has it affected me socially within different cultures and dance? But dance has honestly been the biggest blessing in that sense because growing up as a very quiet child, I never asked many questions. So, for example, the thought now of me being a kid and asking you really hard questions or what's it like in Hong Kong? I could never. I would look at you and be like, oh, human. I'm not going to ask you anything about, where you're from. Or it just didn't click to me as a child. And I remember thinking this as I got older. I wonder why I never really asked. Like, for example, some of my best friends in primary school were Italian. And I'd go to their house on Sundays specifically. And we always have pasta. But it just was family, humans, and food. I didn't really have a great concept of culture, if that made sense. And as I got older and I visited New Zealand a few times and I was around my Vietnamese family more, I was like, oh, I understand the difference now. Dance-wise, because I've had the amazing opportunity to go to China, to Japan, New Zealand, and all over, I realized that I have a better understanding of how to be, considerate of others and how they operate. So, for example, I went to China, and it was a big culture shock for me. The way that some of the dancers constructed themselves within the class, what they would do within their breaks, and I had to. At first, I'm gonna be honest. It's not an attack on like Chinese dancers at all, but I was like, oh my god, what are they doing? Why is she doing that? Why is she got her phone? Why is he drinking that? Like, what are you doing? Stop moving, everybody! Everyone, just stop moving.
Stress.
Honestly, but it was a big culture shock because of I'm from Australia and I'm used to a certain way of doing things, and then I realized no, this is how they do in the normal classes, just accept it. And I've learned to be accepting. Oh, how cute is this, by the way?
Joanne says, shout out to Alice's set design. Yes.
Yes. Look at the pretty lights back here. It's bougie up in this bitch. But yeah, so I've learned to be very understanding and be aware and be respectful. So dance is what did that for me. Because I'll be honest, I was a very ignorant child, and that was because I had how do I say this? I didn't understand. Sounds silly. I didn't understand that I could ask these questions, if that makes sense. And it's not that I didn't care. I cared very much because I used to get teased a lot.
How to access that information.
Yeah, and how to be able to bring it up, because I got bullied heaps for being Asian. And
being different.
Yeah, being different. And even when people found out in primary school that I was mild, they're like, oh, kiwi fruit. And I thought that was offensive when I was in primary school.
Not green or hairy on the outside.
They used to call me kiwi fruit. And I thought that was so offensive. And I've always wondered how my parents dealt with it, because I remember we were going to New Zealand. My mum, who is Māori and, Aboriginal and colonised white, she took us to the travel agent, me and my brother. And when we were younger, we looked very, very Asian. And as we got older, not that we grew out of it, but we just grew into ourselves. And I remember the travel agent being like, oh, are they yours?
It's like, bitch, yes. That's my mama.
I came out of that. Yeah, her room, yeah, mine. But I remember my mum being like, my mum's very lovely and very just calm. And she's like,
shout out,
Robin.
Amazing cooking as well.
Yes, Tiff comes over for
love
Christmas. I remember mum being like, oh, their father's Vietnamese. And she was like, oh, shut the fuck up. So, yeah, if that answers your question, J1, it's taught me how to be more respectful, more aware, and just kind of grow within myself to be the best person I can be. As dancers who both barrel and make choreography, what are some of the hardest challenges people
J1, it's not Q&A yet.
Yeah, don't chill the fuck up.
Well, we'll answer that. We'll answer that later. We'll just quickly finish off the pros and cons. So another one, I was saying that like a pro is number one fitness. Like if it wasn't for dance, I would not be exercising low key.
Did you do anything besides dance before?
I used to competitive swim actually in
Yes.
high school, but that was it. Like when I started uni, like dance was the only thing that
Dance is life.
helped me
Dance is the winner.
kind of stay alive, I guess. But freshman 15 was real. So real, I'm telling you. I was so fat after first year. And then I realized, and then dance helped me a lot. And especially like when I started teaching after uni, bruh, like I lost a lot of weight because of dancing. Yeah.
For me, I've always been quite an active child. So I did a lot of sports. I did netball, AFL, soccer when I was in primary school, and basketball and stuff in high school. But I also did taekwondo first, and then I did taekwondo for a long time. Then I was like, Dad, it's not real karate. I was an ignorant kid, yeah. It's not real karate. I don't want to do it. It's not real. It's not like the movies. It's not real. And then I did Kyokushin karate, which is pretty savage, and I did that for a couple of years. It was really good. And then I found dance, and that's what's kept me fit. So obviously hormonal, whirlwind, shit happens. Up and down, up and down.
Yes.
But yeah, it is a big reason why I think I've stayed the way I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great source of cardio.
Yes.
Definitely.
Can dance for hours.
Yeah.
Can't run for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I hate running. But with that being said,
Wave if you relate.
dance, it does take a big toll on your body, especially for us who are like professional and like we teach quite a lot throughout the week.
Yeah.
And I know like especially for like maybe like more industry dances, for them it's also like they're rehearsing like all day.
Yeah. How do you look after
This is a con. Injuries.
Yeah.
She has a fucked back and fucked knees, and I have fucked knees. So.
This is fucked. That's fucked.
Everything on my body hurts.
And so, like, honestly, in the comments, guys, whoever's watching, put your hands up. Send us an emoji. Send us something if you've ever had an injury. Now, for example, one of the biggest injuries I know that has happened is probably that I know of is my partner Chi, and also to Joe.
And Andrew.
And Andrew too.
Torn ACL.
Yeah, so Andrew tore his ACL. He had surgery. And Chi, my partner, he tore his ACL and meniscus and has bolts literally in his left knee.
It's fucked.
And it took him over a year. And it's honestly, just to be real, like, Chi wouldn't mind me saying this, but it was really depressing because you're not active. You don't really actually have control over your life. You're gaining heaps of weight.
And you can't do what you love.
Yeah.
You can't do what you love because you're like, you physically can't,
Yeah.
Even if you can go to events and see people dance, it's just different not being able to physically do it yourself.
Yeah. And, you know, it affects them, it affects people around them, and it's something that, you know, look after yourselves, guys. And that comes to tie with fitness. Your physique, you need to look after it and know your capabilities and know what you're going into. One of the biggest things is I watch people do really hectic, like, knee work and floor work, and I'm like, do you have the muscles that to support your body to do that?
Talk to Roger if you want to learn how to condition your knees. That man is crazy. But yeah, like conditioning is a big thing. I didn't start learning about that until after I tore my meniscus as well. I actually tore my meniscus in both knees before. Not like hectically. Mine were like minor tears.
Yes, I've had minor tears too.
So I've like recovered from them, but
I have it.
through that, like, cause the first time I had to take 3 months off, and that was already like devastating. And for me, like it was like a warning, like, okay, from now on you really have to take care of yourself. And it's like crazy. Even when you do all the conditioning stuff, you still can get hurt. Like I know Jun hurt his back, even though he was constantly like, you've seen Jun in the studio, like he's always conditioning, he's always working on his stretching.
He has a bath every day, like a focused bath.
Like with that being said, even though you do conditioning, like it's not guaranteed, but it does reduce the risk significantly. So I urge everyone to at least like
invest.
Do core work and like
invest in yourself.
Yeah, just take care of yourself.
Yeah, and reach out to people. So, for example, the other day, last week, I just had severe pain in my lower back and my hips, and I've had this problem for a while. And then, only last year, my mum told me, oh yeah, you were born with uneven hips, so they're not exactly straight or in the form they're meant to be, and they were naturally a bit tilted. And I was like, sick. Didn't know for my whole life. Thanks, Mum. And so she told me that, and I actually spoke to Meeks, and he sent me some videos with like stretches, because as much as I like to think, I know what I'm doing, I know what stretches I need to do, I think it's always worth asking friends or asking other people, hey, do you have any ideas of what I could do to really help my hip flexors out? And so he sent me some videos, so thank you, Meeks, for doing that.
Yeah, and like what was I going to say? I completely forgot.
You need
oh no!
What?
I lost my train of thought!
I knew something happened, and I was like, what are you looking at?
Okay, I'll just come back to it if it comes back to me. I'm so sad.
Everyone, send praying hands for Tiff. Send praying hand emojis for Tiff in her brain, please. It's after 9. Someone come help.
Cannot function.
Yep. All right. Oh, late nights.
Last one? Oh, late nights, yeah. I, especially when the studio's open, this is con. I go home like maybe like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. every single fucking time like teaching or whatever, because I end up like staying and like chatting with friends, jamming, you know, Nina.
Let's go eat after class.
Yeah, and then like I end up going home like hella late, and I sleep at like 3 or 4 a.m. and I have to wake up the next day. It's like, oh my god, why do I do this to myself?
Because you love it. Because you love it. It's like friends over like sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Dance over sleep.
I feel like dancers are generally more active at night. We don't do much during daytime, and obviously like we have work, but like, do you know what I mean? Like even after work we wait until maybe like 9 p.m. and then we start like, okay, it's getting more active now, you know.
You know, warm up to it, but yeah, I think we're all possums. Thank you, Maddie, for praying for Tiff's train of thought.
Thank you. It still hasn't come back to me, so I don't know. Oh wait. Wait. I was gonna plug Sam.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, I come back. Sam does remedial massage, and he has like a lot of tips on how to like relieve. Samuel Beasley, hit him up. Yeah. He works for a clinic, I think, and he does like private session. I'm not sure. He talked about private session, but you can hit him up. He told me a lot about like, relieving like my muscles, and like he can help you realign shit. So
hit him up. Hit him up. Cool. Alrighty. So, do you want to move on to the Q&A now?
Yeah, let's move on to Q&A.
Okay. So, guys, we're going to give everyone maybe a minute or two, but we're going to move on to the Q&A. Hey, Melissa, it's a bit late, sis. I'm kidding. I love you. So, everyone, you can hit the comments if you like. So, there's going to be questions directly. Hey, Austin. Austin just started following Venus the podcast. Austin's my 12-year-old brother, guys. So, these questions can be directed directly to Tiff, to both of us. It could be dance-related.
Or other people on the live right now that you want to talk about, and we can be, like, mediating.
Okay, so, we'll start off with J1's question. He says, as dancers who both battle and make choreography, what are some of the hardest challenges people might know about each?
So, like, battling for me, nerves.
Oh.
Till this day, like, I shit bricks before going out and around.
Literal bricks this big.
Like, and I can tell you this, like, for especially more, like, newbie dancers, I wouldn't say that I'm, like, you know, like, haha, I'm experienced. Like, I'm not guys. Like I only started like freestyling in like 2016 when I first came to Australia, because I kind of just started like learning about hip popping when I was in Hong Kong, and then when I moved here was when I really delved into freestyle. And
Yeah.
I've spoken to like Nyako and stuff, and for them, like I asked them like, do you still get nervous? They're like, hell yeah, like
We should bricks too.
yeah, like they shoot bricks too, but I think it's more the experience allows you to learn how to control and keep that, you know, like I'm good. It's more about like knowing and acknowledging that those nerves are there, but still going out and doing your best and leaving all that you have onto the floor. I think that takes experience, but just letting you know, like the nerves will never go away. They'll always be there.
So we've been freestyling, battling for a few years, and we still want to wet ourselves when we stand up. Like it's no joke. It's some serious shit.
Not in a weird way.
Yeah, I just
I was like, that sounds so weird when it came out.
no, it sounds weird because it's you, but yeah. So this goes out to probably the newer dancers or people who don't battle too frequently. It happens to all of us. I don't think there's any dancer who hasn't felt nervous, you know, ever. So just keep that in mind. It's a normal thing. It's a human thing, and I think it's important that we kind of talk about it more. Like I even still to this day, I'll walk up to like a friend and be like, "Was that all right?" Like,
Every time after she battles, I'm like, yeah, it's fine, bitch. Like, you're killing it.
And it's so funny. Just a side note: destructive steps last year. So for the past 2 years, I've always made top 4. I've never gone past top 4, and I got top 4 curse. And so in my, I think top 8 round, I remember Tiff was behind me because she's my hype girl, and I'm doing my set. When I heard her go, "Come on, Jazz," it wasn't like a cheering, "Come on, Jazz, let's go." It was a, "Jazz, you look tired, pick it up."
Yeah.
You gotta have those friends who are like cheer you on, but they're giving you like little hints like, "Sis, you're looking tired, like pick it up." And so, you know, have good people around you to encourage you as well. And if you need those people, like, yeah.
For me, for choreography, I think for me it's perfectionist. Because with choreography, it's a bit different. You have an infinite amount of time to perfect your set, unless like you have a deadline or whatever. But in general speaking, like your creative process is very different to freestyle, where freestyle is like improvisation and it relies heavily on your practice beforehand and how you apply that in the moment. But with choreography, you have to like be original, and you have to make sure, you know, you're hitting the
What
things.
layers are you hitting?
Yeah, like there's a lot more to think about, and because you can plan it out, like you consider a lot more.
Yeah.
And I think when you have that opportunity and space and time to do that, I tend to overthink a lot, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to change this, I need to change this. So one thing that I do now is, because I teach like quite a few classes a week, what I do is I force myself to make the set 15 minutes before class. I never give myself more time than that, because then it leaves me no room to overthink. So I just make it and do what's natural to for my body, and I just stick with that.
And that does come with experience too, guys. So, for example, Tiff has the capability of, she wants to feel it naturally. She can make it 15 minutes before, and she'll stick with it. Because, again, she's not left herself any room to change it. And it's natural, like 100%. Then there are people who get creatively blocked, and they're like, well, fuck me, I need a whole day or a week. And, you know, sometimes if I know something's coming up that I need to choreograph for, I will do it the day before. There's been times where I've choreographed a full week, like a week before, to allow myself time, because for some reason I was really nervous about this one thing I was doing, and I was just like, no, I want to hit this, and I vision this. So when it comes to choreo, if you had more time than, you know, before class, how do you approach it? How do you approach making choreo?
For me, I always let the music tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Like always, like music comes first, whether it be in choreography or battling.
Yeah.
So I try to let the music guide my body. Like for me, it always comes back to freestyle. Actually, like sometimes what I do is I put the music on, I freestyle, film myself, and then I rewatch and pull elements out of my freestyle that I liked, and then build from those small blocks and then fill in the gaps, kind of thing.
Take notes.
Yeah.
Take notes.
Because you always want to, like, how should I say? Always do what's natural for your body. Don't try and imitate someone else, or like, you know, try and fit moves into a song.
No,
Don't do that.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Yeah, for me it's so interesting because like when I make choreography, the way that I do it is I will play the song and I just listen to it and I sit there. Like I lay there and I just soak it in. Because I do find that when I freestyle to it, I get distracted, and that's just me personally. and I get distracted and I start overthinking, like we were talking about before, and I'll be like, oh, but I like the way this makes me want to do like a circle, but I just keep thinking about it, and then I'll just stop. So I'm like, no, I just need to listen to it and see what I vision and feel.
Yeah. Legit, if you saw me, I'd probably look a bit crazy. I'll play the song and I'd be like,
No, big facts. Like visualizing is a big part. Like I know you do that. I remember you told me like you just sit in the car and you just see the whole thing in your head. I do that too. Like I visualize my pieces instead of actually physically doing them first.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised. Like sometimes the things you think of, you actually can't physically do.
I know.
And then you do it, you're like,
oh, my body can't do it. I do it all the time. So like I teach a crew with my friend Johnny, and I was like, yeah, Johnny, and I'm like, can do this move, and Johnny's like, that's really hard. And then Johnny can do it, but he looks at me like, Jazz, that's really hard. And if Johnny can't do it, then I'm like, oh, maybe the kids can't do it. But yeah, so that's how we. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so we'll just move on to the next question.
Drew has a question.
Andrew, I would like your opinion regarding equality in terms of representation in competitions. Which do you think is more important, merit and skill or gender quotas? Or is it something to be balanced?
Balance.
If anything, ladies, I have received messages, and you probably have Tiff too. English, I'm tired. All right, so what I was trying to say was I've received a lot of messages, and I'm pretty sure Alice has too, and Tiff has too, like from women who are so scared to come into the scene and freestyle. And I think personally, like I find that with my friends that I'm surrounded with, like our mission is to help those who don't have that confidence or haven't, reached that point yet where they can bring themselves to just actively go into a circle. And that's why I love competitions like Ladies Night, it's just a vibe. Oh, I love Ladies Night so much. Alice is in the back. Yeah. Honestly, because it's it's so special to celebrate, and I find that my mission now, like, not that it's a mission, sorry, I shouldn't really say that, but you know how people say, like, my goal is I want to be in a music video, I want to win a battle overseas, and I used to think like that, like, no cap, I used to think like that, and then I got to a point where I was like, no, I think I just want to be the person I wish I had when I was younger, and I want to be that person that motivates women or people who just don't have that self-confidence in themselves and show them what they can achieve, show them what they can do. And I do find like the women that I surround myself with do that actively and are such good representations of that. And so, yeah, Andrew, and answer your question, I do think balance is really important. And hell, like...
But also, like, you don't want, like, a very, like, okay, we have an even amount of girls and boys.
Yeah, I know.
Shit dances.
That's too...
And it's also, like, it's our responsibility as dancers, whether female or male, to upskill and be the best dancer that we can, right? Especially if you want to delve into the realm of competition and battles. You want to improve and get better and make it past prelims or whatever your goal is at the time. Like, I think the merit and skill thing is a thing that you as a dancer have to set for yourself. Like, honestly, like, for our scene, like, our events, the whole, like, gender thing, like, we just enter with our friends and, like, who we want to. I think for our scene in particular, like, I don't think we have to be, like, super strict about it. Like, I don't know how to explain. Like...
That's right, guys, get the praying emojis. Get the praying emojis out again for Tiff's train of thought.
Because I have, like, both in my head, I can't articulate them right now.
But it's okay. But yeah, I do think we have such a strong female base, especially, and such a strong male base. Like, let's be real, no cap. Within our scene, so just strictly speaking, Sydney, women are leading the hip hop scene. Someone prove me wrong. We do have very strong male dancers as well, clearly, obviously. But when it comes to the amount, like, it's honestly so amazing and proud to look at how many females there are now in hip-hop. Like,
honestly, even in popping, like, in recent years, like, shout out to Popping Nation. Like,
that happened tonight.
Like,
check out the stream.
New generations of female poppers and male poppers, but, like, mainly for me, like, having been here... not that long since 2016. I know even before then there was even less like females. Like there was not like Charlene and like a few others were there. Yeah. But in the last year, like it's grown.
and Alice with long hair.
And like these past few years have grown significantly, and the level has grown so much as well. So hella grateful.
Paper play.
Last 2 questions.
Yeah. Cool.
We'll do 2 more questions and then we'll end thus.
Okay.
Maddie asks, do you ever feel self-conscious after watching your sets? If so, what are some ways you try to avoid letting it get you down?
Do you want to start?
There are some sets where, like, immediately after, I'm like, I hated it. Like, I would just go up to her and be like, I fucking hate it. They'll be like, no, you did great. I'll be like, no, I hated it.
It was so
Absolutely.
good.
And even after, like, and I watched the video, I still hate it. Usually what I do is, right after you're the most harsh. Like, you're your biggest critic, right? So what I do is I leave it. I don't watch it for like 3-4 days or even up to like 2 weeks. And then I'll revisit it. You'll be surprised how much your view on your dance changes even just by giving yourself like a week's time.
Honestly,
to
depends
like
on your mood.
digest. Yeah.
Your mood, what you've been through.
Because I'm notorious, and I think a lot of my friends, especially Chi as well, and my family know, when I do a set, right, it's taken me years, but I've learned not to watch a set and be like, oh, that was shit. I kind of don't say that anymore. I look at it and I dissect it in the sense of, I watch it. I don't watch me, right? I don't watch me. I watch everyone in the background.
Watch the reactions.
Yeah, because that, I realize, is what's important to me. Because if I'm dancing and I want to improve on it, I want to see how am I translating to everyone that's around me. So I look at the background of the video and I'm like, okay, is everyone reacting to this? And then, I've learned to love what I do a lot more, and it's taken me years, and I've no cap, years to get to that point where I don't hate it. I might dislike him, but oh yeah, that was alright, that was pretty shit, whatever. But I don't care as much because I'm like, that's what I did in the moment, and I kind of have to be happy with that.
Yeah, you don't have to be like 100% like, oh my god, I love my set, but it's
I'm
learning.
the shit.
Yeah, you just learn to appreciate your dance. Like you appreciate everyone else. You see someone else dance, you know that there's flaws in their dance, and but you always look for the good things first, right? Yeah. You see them and you find things that you like, and you tell them what you like. You don't go up to a person and be like, that's shit. You don't do that. You go up and be like, yeah, that was really cool. I really like that, little wavy thing you did. Try and do that for yourself. Look for things that you like about your dance, and then take those out and work on those specific
And
points.
I think people you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but try to have that mentality where you do that more often. So a lot of people don't do that for themselves, like you were saying. Look for things in their own that they liked, right? Yeah. But they'll do that for other people. Do that for you. Look for things that you liked in your set and try to approach someone. So have that conversation with, oh my gosh, Tiff, that wavy thing you did, lit. And that way you can build relationships as well. And so allow that to be a gateway for you to build your confidence. Because I think that also helps. Because then you start talking about each other's sets. It's like, no, bitch, that was fire. I'm like, oh, can you teach me that thing you did? It was really fire. Yeah? All right, so move on to the next question, then we'll wrap it up, guys.
Wait.
We got 2 more.
We've answered too many. We'll ask them.
Melissa. Sorry, Joanne, we love you, but we've answered a couple of yours, so we're going to skip yours and go to Mal. So regarding battles, do you think females are too scared to show their femininity because we're trying to prove we can be just as strong as the guys? Hell to the yes, sister. And that depends on personal experience as well, but I will elaborate on that quickly, and then I'll pass it on to Tiff. So let me just read that again. I'm sorry. Oh, no, Mal, don't be sorry. Joe's asked lots of questions. So again, for those, sorry, I was talking too fast. Regarding battles, do you think females are too scared to show their femininity because we're trying to prove we can be just as strong as the guys? Now, I do think it's personal experience, and I do think we as individuals have different feelings. And it's so funny you say that, because I did have a good friend of mine who I talked to on and off, and I haven't really seen that person lately, but they did message me this really long message, and it made me quite emotional. They were asking asking for advice with their freestyle and how to navigate it, because they felt insecure about showing their femininity within their dance, and kind of thought, well, if I do hip hop, I should look a certain way. Well, no, like as a female, you can do whatever you like. If you identify as female, if there's something you want to do within your dance, then you do it. And if it's an insecurity that you have, talk to people who can help you navigate out of that mindset and encourage you and motivate you. Because if you keep it to yourself, it's going to stay in here. It's going to brew, and it's not going to go anywhere. Whereas if you let it out and get the help from others to navigate and how you can accept yourself more for wanting to do it, then it's fine. I do understand. Sorry, Joe. Well, no, Joe, don't be mad. I feel like he's mad. He's being passive aggressive. I have no idea. I'm not angry. I'm just. That's worse. You're like a dad or a parent that says, "I am disappointed." That is the worst thing ever. Alice feels that way. But yeah, to go back to Mal's question. Sorry, Joe. I have to skip you. It does come from experience. So I remember but I used to feel this way, and I never really thought about it. I thought, no, I have to look real like
gangster and masculine. Right?
Yeah. And I personally, I do like the style, but then, you know, I'm not afraid to add my femininity and just be a woman with my dancing. That's something that's taken some years to get used to because, yeah, it's just what I knew. It's how I liked to move and what I saw. I did, when I was first starting, I did watch a lot of male hip-hop dancers to begin with. But yeah, now, obviously, there's a lot more women out there. And yeah, it's influenced me quite a lot.
Yeah. For me personally, I don't think, like, same, like, when I first started, especially, like, popping, like I said, quite male dominant, so the people that I looked up to were mainly, like, guys popping, but then, obviously, I got to, like, you know, like, Gabby, Bev, Charlene, my crewmates, #Sheila was good. Yeah, I started learning to embrace my femininity. I think it's not so much we're trying to prove that we're as strong as the guys, but I think it's more we're scared to embrace our femininity because we don't see it being done as often, but you have to be that first person to be like, yes, I'm going to, like, move my hips and use my chest, you know?
And it doesn't make you less of that style. So, for example, if you added that to your hip-hop dancing, it does not make you less hip-hop by doing that.
Yeah. Because, like, hip-hop or just dancing, it's so broad. Like, it's about expression and showing who you are. So, you know, if you want to use your hips, use your goddamn hips. And this goes out to not just girls, but guys. Like, guys, you have a feminine side to embrace that. If that's what you're feeling, if that's what the song is telling you to do it. Don't feel like, oh, my God, I don't know if I should use my hips because, like, the other guys could be like, oh, my God.
You know who's such a good example of that? Mackenzie.
Yes.
Yeah, so Mackenzie Jitson, sorry if I butchered your last name, but he's such a good example of that. So, for example, I knew him as someone who primarily did popping. Then randomly at one battle, I was like, shit, is he whacking?
Yeah.
Get it! And it was fucking dope. It was so cool. And I was like, man, you're so cool.
I think we should wrap up.
Yeah, we should probably wrap up. So just a few things. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And a big shout out to Alice, who has been staring at us and helping us out with all of the tech side of things and helping us make the stream what it is. A big shout out to Darcy for the exclusive Venus remix he made for us. Please check out his Bandcamp and check out his SoundCloud. But yeah, so... so thank you so much. So we did go over time, and we'll keep a better track of it next podcast.
But okay, we actually prepared a spotlight, and I still really want to do this. Like, just stay tuned. I'll just quickly do like an overview of who this person is. So every podcast we're gonna highlight a female or not. But this week we chose
Ziadawa?
Yes, I can't pronounce it.
From Southwest Sydney, guys.
Yeah, and she's known for her captivating and soulful live shows, and she combines her love for acoustic guitar with hip-hop beats to bring forth positive vibes.
She's really cool. Check her out on all social media platforms, but we're about to show you her song, and please listen to the lyrics, watch the video, and thank you so much. So once the video is done playing, we're out of here, and yeah, thank you so much.
Follow us on social media. Instagram, watch it on Facebook because it's not going to show. It's like this little cool live thingy that we have that only works on Facebook Live. So if you want to see this artist and her music, please move on to
Facebook. Okay, so we're going to pop off the IG Live. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Head to our Facebook to watch the video, and we'll check you.
Oh, and we're going to upload a Spotify playlist for you guys soon, and it's going to contain 12 tracks, specially curated by me, Jazz, and Alice.
For you.
So keep an eye out for that. We'll post it up on our socials.
Thank you so much,
Thank you guys.
We're still on the IG Live. Bye, guys.
I was hoping you wouldn't judge me, so I didn't judge myself. Judging by my current state, it's safe to say that I may need help to let go of my ego. Like it ain't part of me, though it seems to wanna go tall as a tree. Still I'm talking about me like maybe I should listen. I just wanna listen. Tell me more, I'm in something bigger than me, something worth believing. Tell me more, I'm in. Don't pull on my trigger yet, no deceiving, it's true. Really hope the message can Well, Tupac had it right. Yeah, Tupac had it right. Think I'm addicted to my pain, babe. It pours down like rain on me. My finger on the trigger. Why would I do that to myself? Well, I wouldn't do to no one else. Think I'm addicted to my pain, buddy. It pours down like rain on me. My finger on the trigger. Why would I do that to myself? Well, I wouldn't do to no one else. Repeating the same old cycles. Find myself in the same predicament. It ain't cool. I'm feeling like a fool. Should've learned my lesson. I never took the time to ask no questions. Answers I would find. Always searching for the temporary highs. I know I try to make them last forever, when it was clear we wouldn't stay together. I'm clever but I'm blind, witty but I'm deaf. Escaped with the life that I left upon that cliff. Lost myself to the sky, spread my wings and couldn't fly. Screaming, no, I don't wanna die, but I take all the hurt that you bring. Don't know what it means to love, I just sing. Don't know what it means to be loved, I'm nothing. But how am I going win if I ain't right with them? Yeah. Lauren did it right. Lauren did it right. Think I'm addicted to my pain, buddy. Pours down like rain on me. My finger on the trigger. Why would I do that to myself? Well, I wouldn't do to no one else. Think I'm addicted to my pain, buddy. I'm escaping what's chasing me. Yeah, I'm facing me. Cause I wouldn't do that to myself. Well, I wouldn't do to no one else. I cannot be a victim to my circumstance.